time I roll through LA, Hollywood, San Diego, Oceanside, I get nothing but love from the people. I tell you this to tell you Cali like a second home to me. I always have a party.
My compadres, how are you gentlemen out there doing today? It is the Monkman, Marl Kalone. This is Season 1, Episode 23. And listen, today we're going to talk about another serious topic for men. And it revolves around homelessness and mental health, substance abuse, and things like that. Now, this show is being brought to you by the suggestion of Sean. So shout out to Sean. He comments on a lot of my videos. He's really following me. He's helping to plug me and push me. So I got to give him a shout out right now. And on the last show, I asked for some input, and I thought this was a great idea from him. So we just went ahead and said, you know what, let's do it. Let's do a show on this. So let's jump right into the topic of the day. It's a very serious topic, and it's something that affects not a huge percentage-wise portion of the population, but if you break down the United States population, it's a substantial number of men. We're talking in the millions. Homelessness. Homelessness is something that is chronic anytime you have a society, and today is no different. Even with all of our technologies, even with all the do-gooders out there in the world and all the people that say they're going to end this and end that, and they don't ever want this to happen to somebody again or that to happen. Here we are, 2019, and we still have chronic homelessness throughout this country. In fact, a lot of the cities in California with their liberal policies have become absolutely oversaturated and overrun with homelessness in some areas, to the point where people are moving out of them, and the decay of the city is becoming rampant. And you have a lot of issues that go along with that: prostitution, crime, people in unsanitary conditions, people not eating, murder, robbery, all sorts of things. So it is in the best interest of society to try to grapple with this problem. And men disproportionately are affected by homelessness. Now, I went to Wiki to look up some statistics on this. And it's not the only place I looked, but I thought this is the easiest place for everybody who wants to go out after listening and watching the show, who wants to go out and confirm what I've found. Wiki is the easiest place to do that. So if you look at the numbers, and this seems to be fairly universal when you look around on other pages as well, about 51 to 52% of the total homeless population in the United States is single males, okay? You also have another 23% are families with children, which incidentally it says that is the fastest growing segment. And 5% are minors that are unaccompanied by adults. 39% of the population is under the age of 18, and then there's about 25% are single females. So if you break this down further, what we're looking at, if you include males and family units, you're looking at almost 74% involve men in homelessness in one way or another. So that is substantially higher than females. Now, if you look at the situation around the country, and I've read stories on this and I've researched this a little bit in the past, there are absolutely no shelters other than potentially one, and this is for the entire country, that are dedicated to males only. But on the flip side of that, you have hundreds of shelters and housing units and assistance units for women. And they say these are for battered women or women leaving abusive relationships, or simply women that don't have the resources to take care of themselves. This has been an ongoing problem for decades, and the feminist movement continues to perpetuate the stereotype and the stigma, saying that women have an epidemic of homelessness and being abused, when in fact the statistics that have come out are very much supporting the fact that men make up the majority of the homeless problem. And all you have to do is go down to your local homeless shelter and you can see this for yourself. I've been doing an event for the last 16 years. This year will be what are we at? 17. We're at 17 years. I've done an event called Hip Hop for the Homeless, and we've done it for homeless people for 15 of those years. The other year was for animals, but we've done it for 15 years, and when I go down there, I'm not one of those people that stamps my name on something and then decides to throw it out in the public and say I did this. We actually go down there to the shelter. We've volunteered. We've also taken the supplies in ourselves, and I've even handed out supplies. And what I do is I collect clothing, I collect household items, I collect stuffed animals for the children, and we go down and we hand this out, we turn it in, we distribute it. It's been highly successful. It's something I'm proud of. When I look back on my life on achievements, this would be one of those things I've been very pleased to have created and be part of. So when I go down there and I get in the midst of the homeless population, I can absolutely tell you just by looking around, the majority of the people are men. And it's also a fact that if you look at the population, a huge percentage of that male homeless population is African American and Hispanic men. Whites are also in there as well. But if you look at the overall numbers, you're going to see that a little over 60% belong to African Americans, Hispanics, and other demographics, right? And that's disproportionate to the overall population of the United States. Why does homelessness affect men? And why does it affect men in such large percentages? Let's break that down a little bit. You have multiple issues that go on with homelessness. This is kind of across the board. But a lot of men have substance abuse issues, right? You have a lot of returned veterans, and they have PTSD. They have other mental health issues that have been onset by going to war. Men that were involved in Vietnam, there was a lot of the Agent Orange issues, things like that. My uncle, he's passed on now, but he was a Vietnam vet, and I know that he really struggled over the years with substance abuse, and chronically had problems throughout his life as he got older, especially with trying to get his life and affairs in order. So you have a lot of mental issues that can be onset by going to war, the things that these men have seen. You have substance abuse issues, and if you look at the numbers, I'll have these up on the screen for you. A huge proportion of the population that is chronically homeless, meaning they're homeless for extended periods of time, they have mental health, lifetime mental health issues. Those are either very severe, or they're just flat out something they could have been born with, you know? These are a lot of the things that we as men need to take a look at in order to get our community more healthy. I'm trying to think of the best way to say that. We have an obligation and a responsibility to our fellow brothers, because the Me Too movement, the feminist movement, the movements that always push the propaganda that women are the number one victims of homelessness and abuse and no way out of bad situations and end up on the streets, and that's just not the case. The numbers don't support that. Now, I'm not saying there isn't a problem for women as well, but they have more than enough resources and recognition to this problem. There is such little attention brought to the male, the male epidemic of homelessness. When I Googled the issue to do some more reading and research on this, there was not a whole lot of separate articles or organizations or information that came up to talk about this, to expose the problem. So I think that as the number one men's movement and lifestyle, life decisions, life philosophy moving forward, MGTOW needs to step back, take a breath, and look at these issues and honestly ask, what can we do in our part of the world, in our little piece of the pie? What can we do to maybe make things just a little bit better? I'm not asking anybody to go out and fix the world. What I'm asking is that everybody recognize issues like this among men, and that we maybe take some small steps now to begin the seeds of change, to get the public to recognize the epidemic of men being homeless and the mental health issues and substance abuse issues that go along with it. Because in the long term, society will be a much healthier place for men, for women. They'll benefit off of it automatically if we have healthier men. And there's so much more we could frankly be doing for this. So with that being said, I would like your input on the video. I put the screenshots up so you can digest these numbers. They're alarming to me. Of course, they've been alarming a long time. Problem is overwhelming. But we can all make a little bit of change. We can all add our small piece to the puzzle. And if we help one individual, each one of us, that's going to make a big difference to that individual. So keep that in mind, brothers. I think that's it for now. I'm signing off. I'll get another show in the can here shortly. Get another show up tomorrow. But until next time, make sure that you spend some time reaching out to fellow brothers. Let's make our community as strong and as vibrant and as healthy, and do what we can, you know. Let's do all of that and make it as healthy as possible. But until next time, gentlemen, as always, I'm going to tell you, stay the fuck red-pilled.
Leaving town cause it's Friday. Drop the top as I head into the center. Cruising toward Cali cause I wanna be a beach bum. Got thoughts of me living like a nomad. A grass shack from my oceanside pad. screaming as the wind blows through my head. Got the world in my hands, don't live without a care. Hit 100 girlfriends dead. She seen Sean Key, said baby take me there. Game time, I do my damage to a blocker. Cops try to stop her, but they won't recognize her. This is a classic like Phantom of the Opera.
That's right.
All my mind says fucking you coppers. You may try, but no you can't stop us. I said